Chosen one, stop scrolling. What you're about to hear is not just a message, it's a divine instruction straight from the throne of heaven. This is urgent. If you're watching this right now, it's not by chance. God led you here. He has something to say, and it's critical for your next season. God said, "Do not react. Stay silent. Shut your mouth." Not because you're weak, but because your miracle is closer than you think. The enemy is trying to bait you. People are trying to provoke you. But hear this, your response could delay your reward. This silence is not punishment, it's preparation. God is telling you to remain still, not for a negative reason, but because your life is about to change in a way that will silence every critic, every liar, and every voice that rose against you. This is not the time to clap back. This is not the time to explain yourself. God said, "Be quiet and watch me work." Your silence is a weapon. Your stillness is your strategy. Your obedience in this moment will unlock the very breakthrough you've been praying for. Before we go deeper into this prophetic revelation, do 3 things. Pause this video, hit that like button to push this message out to more chosen ones, subscribe to join a growing family of spiritual warriors, and drop the number 99 in the comments, because that number carries divine alignment. And today, heaven is aligning with your obedience. If you're truly chosen, your spirit already knows this is for you. Watch until the end, because what's coming next may be the most important instruction of your life. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words, and this, right now, is one of those divine moments. God is issuing a sacred instruction to his chosen ones. Be silent, not out of fear, not out of defeat, but because the silence is your shield in this season of transformation. Heaven is preparing something monumental, something your mind can't yet fathom, and to protect it, God is telling you to quiet your voice. In the noise of life, we often believe we need to explain ourselves, defend our actions, or respond to criticism. But God is saying, no, not this time. This silence isn't a punishment, it's a strategy. Your silence is a spiritual weapon. It's a wall of protection around your breakthrough. The world may misunderstand your quietness, but heaven knows you're simply making room for the miraculous. Let them talk. Let them assume. You are not obligated to answer every doubt or confront every attack, because what's coming for you will answer them all. God is saying, if you stay silent now, I'll speak for you later, and when I speak, no one will question what I've done in your life. This moment is sacred. It's a spiritual crossroad where God is aligning heaven with your destiny. And in that alignment, he needs your full attention, uninterrupted, undistracted, and undisturbed. When you stay quiet, you create space for divine clarity. This silence allows you to tune out the noise of the world and tune into the voice of God. Have you ever missed something important simply because you were too distracted? That's what God is trying to prevent. By asking for your silence, he's shielding you from distractions that could derail your destiny. He's silencing the external chaos so that you can hear the whisper of his will. What's coming isn't ordinary, so your posture must reflect that. Still, humble, and attentive. You don't have to understand everything to obey. Sometimes, faith means being quiet when everything in you wants to speak. This is that kind of faith. Trusting God means trusting His timing. And right now, He's telling you, I'm about to move. Don't speak, just watch. Your miracle is fragile right now, not because it's weak, but because it's sacred. And sacred things must be protected. In this hour, your silence is not just obedience, it's a spiritual safeguard. Think of it like carrying a candle through a storm. One wrong move could blow it out. But if you protect it, nurture it, and guard it with silence, it will light up your entire path. Many people unknowingly speak their miracles away. They announce too soon. They argue when they should be observing. They explain themselves to people who aren't meant to understand their journey. God is saying to you, don't be like them. Let me work in silence so I can reveal you in power. Protect your promise the way a mother protects her unborn child. Not everyone needs to know what's growing inside you. Not everyone will understand it, and they're not supposed to. Let your silence carry what your words can't explain. Because what God is doing is beyond explanation. It's divine. Reactions are emotional, impulsive, and often regrettable. But responses, holy, deliberate silence, are acts of trust. Right now, God isn't just asking you to be quiet. He's testing your heart. Can you trust Him enough to stay silent when everything in you wants to respond? When people push your buttons or life seems unfair, will you react or will you rest in Him? Patience isn't passive, it's active faith. It's choosing to believe that God is working even when you see nothing changing. Just like gold is tested in fire, so are the chosen ones tested in silence. You are not being ignored, you are being refined. And if you can master your emotions, you'll pass the test and step into your testimony. Remember, the enemy doesn't need to destroy you, he just needs you to react wrong. One outburst, one emotional slip, one harsh word could delay what heaven is preparing. But your patience, your quiet surrender, says, God, I trust you more than I trust my feelings. Opportunities from God often arrive unannounced. They don't always come with fanfare or flashing lights. Sometimes they come in whispers, in moments of stillness. And that's why silence is so powerful. It positions you to notice what others overlook. When you're quiet, you're sensitive. When you're sensitive, you're ready. There are doors about to open that can only be walked through by those who are listening, not talking. And when you talk too much, when you explain, defend, or overshare, you may speak yourself out of favor. There's a reason Jesus often withdrew in silence before major moments. He knew the weight of what was coming required peace, not popularity. Your silence is your spiritual radar. It keeps you alert. You won't miss what's yours because you'll be present, aware, and grounded. So don't be discouraged by your quiet season. It's not empty, it's expectant. God is about to place something into your hands, and you'll need both hands free, not full of words, explanations, or arguments. Words are powerful. They create, they shape, they shift atmospheres. But when spoken out of season, words can also destroy. God is warning his chosen ones. Your own mouth can become the barrier between you and your breakthrough. This is not a time to vent, argue, or try to prove anything to anyone. This is a time to let God prove himself through your silence. You don't have to curse your future to lose it. All you have to do is talk too soon, share with the wrong person, or let your emotions speak when your spirit should be listening. The tongue is a small thing, yet it holds the power of life and death. You may not even realize it, but that one frustrated word, that one emotional outburst, it could shift everything. Don't allow your desire to be heard to cost you your harvest. God is asking you to sow silence now so you can reap favor later. Speak life over yourself in private, but in public, especially when under pressure, stay silent. Let the results speak for you. Let your elevation be your explanation. Your blessing is on the line, and silence is the price. A miracle is a sacred thing. It doesn't need to be paraded or defended. It needs to be guarded. Like a seed buried in soil, your miracle must be protected from external forces until it's ready to bloom. And God is telling you, stillness is your protection. The less you say, the more I can do. Think of the silence of a womb. Growth happens in quietness. Development takes place in hiddenness. Just because nothing is seen doesn't mean nothing is happening. The same is true for your spiritual miracle. God is doing deep, divine work within you, and it requires stillness. Don't interrupt the process with noise. You are on holy ground. Your future is forming right now in the quiet. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you are aligning with heaven. You are telling God, I trust the process, and he sees that. This silence isn't empty, it's full of faith. And your faith is building a wall around your miracle that no demon in hell can touch. Some blessings come with conditions, and one of those conditions is timing. Many people miss divine doors simply because they speak too soon. They leak the details of what God is doing before it's time, and by doing so, they invite delay, doubt, and even sabotage. Your silence is not about secrecy, it's about spiritual wisdom. Look at Joseph in the Bible. When he shared his dreams prematurely, it triggered jealousy and betrayal from his own brothers. The dream wasn't wrong, but the timing of the words was. Your opportunity is like a tender shoot breaking through the soil. It needs sunlight, not stomping feet. And if you speak before the root is strong, others can trample what God is growing. Don't be in such a rush to be understood that you end up being undermined. Your miracle doesn't need validation. It needs cultivation. And that cultivation happens in quiet. When the opportunity comes, you'll know. And it will be so obvious, so divine, that you won't have to say a word. It will speak for itself. The world may interpret your silence as weakness. Let them. Because heaven sees it as strength, wisdom, and readiness. When you choose to be quiet, you're not giving up, you're gearing up. God is preparing you for a level of greatness that your current environment can't comprehend. Think of a warrior before battle. They don't yell, They focus. They breathe. They wait for the right moment. That's what your silence is doing. It's preparing your heart, sharpening your vision, building your endurance. You are not hiding. You are being hidden by God until the right time. And when He reveals you, it will be powerful. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the most disciplined. And discipline is what sets apart the chosen ones. You are in the midst of a divine setup. The silence is the space where God fills you with what you'll need for the next season. Let others talk. You stay focused. Greatness requires silence before the spotlight. This isn't for everyone. Not everyone will understand this calling. But you're not everyone. You are chosen. And the chosen must walk differently. You are being called to wait in a way that others won't understand. Your silence is not just a command, it's a mark of your selection. It's the evidence that God has set you apart. Listening is a lost art in a loud world. But for the chosen, listening is everything. This is your moment to lean into the stillness and hear what others can't. God is whispering strategy, insight, and direction, but only those who are silent can catch the whisper. He's not yelling. He's testing who's paying attention. Wait in silence. Wait with expectation. Don't rush the process because it's quiet. Don't panic because it's slow. Silence is not delay, it's design. God is building something eternal in you. And when it's time to act, you'll move with such clarity, boldness, and power that everyone will know. You were listening while they were talking. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your silence. The pressure to speak, to react, to defend yourself, it doesn't come from God. It comes from people who don't understand what God is doing in your life. Right now, trying to meet others' expectations can cause you to miss God's invitation. This is not the season to please people. It's the season to honor God. You are not being silent to appear humble or passive. You are being silent because you are walking in obedience. There is a weight on your life that others don't see, a destiny that cannot be fulfilled by being distracted. People may accuse you of being distant, cold, or arrogant, but remember, even Jesus withdrew from the crowd to fulfill his purpose. When your miracle finally manifests, the same people who questioned your silence will stand in awe of your success. Let that be your response. Let the fruit of your faith speak. God is not calling you to be popular right now. He is calling you to be positioned. And positioning often requires you to stand still while everyone else is moving. Criticism is loud. It's invasive. It's meant to provoke. But you are not here to play defense. You are here to walk in destiny. The enemy would love for you to waste your energy responding to every insult or proving your worth to every skeptic. But you don't fight fire with fire. You fight fire with focus. There is unmatched power in a calm spirit. When you don't respond to the chaos, it loses its grip. Your silence in the face of criticism isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're choosing not to lower yourself to the level of your critics. You're choosing elevation over irritation. This is spiritual maturity. This is how champions think. God sees the injustice. He sees what they said. He knows what they've done, and he's not asking you to fix it. He's asking you to trust that he will vindicate you. Your response could rob him of that chance. So hold your tongue, lift your eyes, and let your silence be the seed of your vindication. They will see what God does next. The waiting is almost over. That ache in your spirit, that sense that something is shifting. It's not in your head. It's heaven's signal. You are on the brink of something life-changing, and your silence is your final act of trust before the promise arrives. Don't give up now. Your miracle is closer than you think. God doesn't reveal the full plan because he wants you to lean into him, not the outcome. You've done the work. You've walked in faith. And now, your silence is sealing what God has set in motion. Just like the walls of Jericho didn't fall until after silence and obedience, so too will your breakthrough come when you finish this final stretch of faith. Hold on, breathe, trust. The divine delay was not denial, it was design. God has been aligning every detail in the background. What looks like silence from heaven is actually strategy. And when the time is right, it will all happen suddenly. You will look back on this silent season and say, it was worth it. God's plan for your life isn't chaotic. It's deliberate, intentional, and perfectly timed. But to align with it, you must let go of the need to control every moment and comment on every situation. Silence aligns you. It humbles your heart, stills your soul, and makes room for divine downloads that only come in the quiet. If you're always speaking, always reacting, always explaining, how can you hear? How can you receive? Silence makes you a vessel, an empty space God can fill. Think of Moses at the burning bush. He didn't interrupt. He listened. That's what this season demands from you. Holy listening. The noise of the world is meant to pull you away from your assignment. But silence keeps you tethered to the voice of your Father. He's not just asking you to stop talking. He's asking you to align your soul with his. When you quiet yourself, heaven opens up. Revelation flows, clarity comes, and your next step becomes obvious, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. This silence is not forever. It's for a purpose. And the purpose is this: God is getting ready to lift you up. When he does, it won't be because you shouted your way to the top or argued your way into position. It will be because you trusted him in silence. The success that's coming will be undeniably divine. The ones who mocked your quiet season will be the same ones who marvel at your elevation. They won't be able to deny that something supernatural took place. You won't need to prove anything. Your life will be the proof. Your silence will have spoken volumes, and your reward will be public, powerful, and permanent. This is your moment. You didn't miss it. You didn't ruin it. You've been obedient, even when it hurt. And God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him, even in silence. So rise up quietly, wait humbly, trust deeply, because your silence is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a miracle that will change everything. Sometimes the loudest answer from heaven is silence. It's not a void, it's an invitation. When God leads you into a season of divine silence, it's not because he's absent. It's because he's preparing the stage for a miracle that requires complete trust. Silence becomes the gateway to something far greater than noise could ever produce. God is aligning heaven with your destiny, and that requires your full spiritual attention. The miracle God is about to release in your life is sacred, and sacred things are not shouted from rooftops. They are whispered in stillness. Just like a seed breaks open beneath the soil in silence before it sprouts, your breakthrough is forming beneath the surface. If you try to rush it or speak prematurely, you risk disrupting the divine timing. Your miracle is maturing in quiet. Don't disturb what God is perfecting. Every moment of divine silence is a moment of divine shaping. God is working on your heart, refining your mind, and sharpening your discernment. What he's bringing you into is too great to be handled with a restless spirit. Embrace the silence, not as a punishment, but as a divine promise. He is building something inside you that the world will soon witness. But first, you must stand still and trust. This gateway of silence leads directly into the next level of your destiny. You're not stuck. You're being strategically stationed. God has closed your mouth to protect the miracle and prepare the audience. And when he opens the next chapter, your life will speak louder than your words ever could. Stillness is not laziness. It is not stagnation. It is spiritual positioning. When God asks you to be still, he is placing you in the right posture to receive the extraordinary. Blessings don't always come in busy seasons. They often arrive when your soul is quiet enough to notice them. You must learn to embrace stillness, not resist it. Think about it. When waters are still, they reflect. Stillness allows clarity, and in your stillness, God is giving you vision. He's showing you things about your life, your purpose, and your next step that you couldn't see when you were in motion. You're not doing nothing. You're letting God do everything. Many of God's greatest moves in Scripture came after a period of stillness. Elijah heard God not in the wind, the fire, or the earthquake, but in the still small voice. That voice didn't come when he was shouting. It came when he was silent. Your blessing may already be knocking, but only stillness will allow you to open the door without fear or confusion. You may feel unproductive in this season, but trust me, heaven is moving. Angels are organizing. Destiny is aligning. And your job is to remain still and receive. Don't rush what God is slowing down for your good. The stillness is shaping you for a blessing that will last. Obedience is often misunderstood. It's not always about action. Sometimes it's about inaction. When God says, "Be silent," he's not trying to silence your identity. He's guiding your destiny. Your silence in this season is a form of spiritual obedience that holds the key to your next breakthrough. It's not just about discipline, it's about trust. Many breakthroughs are delayed, not because God changed his mind, but because we opened our mouths when he told us to wait. We gave in to emotion instead of following divine instruction. Obedience is often quiet. It doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, it simply listens and follows. Your silent obedience right now is telling God, I may not understand, but I trust you more than I trust my own voice. When you obey God in silence, you open a door that disobedience would have kept closed. The power of that obedience is that it prepares the way for miracles you can't manufacture yourself. Think of Noah building an ark with no rain in sight. He wasn't explaining his obedience to anyone. He was just doing what God said. Your silence is building your ark. The flood of blessing is coming. Breakthrough doesn't always come from noise, it comes from alignment. And your alignment with God's voice in this quiet moment is what will unlock doors no one else can open. So stay silent, not just because it's easier, but because obedience is better than sacrifice, and your reward is wrapped in your surrender. Timing is everything in the kingdom of God. And divine timing isn't just about when something happens. It's about how you respond while you wait. When you choose silence over reaction, you show God that you trust His timing over your emotions. That kind of faith doesn't go unnoticed in heaven. Reaction is often driven by fear or pride, but silence is driven by faith and confidence in God's sovereignty. When you stay quiet in moments where the flesh wants to lash out, you're placing your situation back into God's hands. You're saying, I don't need to fix this. God's already handled it in eternity. That kind of surrender triggers supernatural timing. We often want to act when God is asking us to pause. We want to respond when God is asking us to rest. But some of the greatest victories in Scripture were won in stillness. The Red Sea parted after the Israelites stood still. The walls of Jericho fell after the people marched quietly. There's power in silence, especially when it's partnered with divine timing. God's clock is not broken. It's perfect. And if you can remain silent when your flesh screams for action, you'll align with that timing and step into blessings that no reaction could ever bring. This is your test. Can you stay silent long enough for God to move on your behalf? Your silence is more than just a lack of noise. It's a shield, a weapon, and a declaration of spiritual maturity. In a world that thrives on conflict and chaos, choosing peace through quietness is an act of rebellion against the enemy. When you guard your peace with silence, you make it impossible for the enemy to use your words against you. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you with a storm. He just needs to get you to open your mouth at the wrong time. One emotional outburst, one careless word, one conversation not meant for certain ears, these are all traps. But when you stay quiet, you disarm the enemy entirely. He has nothing to use, nothing to twist, nothing to exploit. Peace is expensive, and in this season, your silence is how you pay for it. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Not every situation requires your response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. That's not passivity, it's divine wisdom. And that wisdom will protect your mind, your heart, and your destiny. Guard your peace like treasure, because it is. The quieter you are, the clearer you become. The less you speak, the more power you hold. And in that quiet space, God is preparing you for something so sacred. It requires protection from outside noise and internal chaos. Let your peace speak louder than your voice ever could. You've prayed, you've waited, you've believed, and now miracles are moving toward you. But God is asking one final thing. Be quiet and prepare. Don't get distracted. Don't rush to share. Don't speak out of turn. Miracles don't come through noise. They arrive in environments prepared by faithful silence. Preparation in silence is different. It's internal. It's unseen. While others are hustling loudly, you are being built quietly. That's how heaven works. Underground before visible. In silence before celebration. Just as a bride prepares in private before the wedding, your soul must be readied in silence before the arrival of the miracle. You wouldn't yell instructions during surgery. You wouldn't scream during a symphony. Miracles require reverence. God is fine-tuning your life, stitching together pieces of destiny, and setting up divine opportunities that require silence to fully bloom. The question is, will you honor the holy with your quiet? Prepare your heart, clear your mind, let your spirit rest. The miracle is already on the way. All God needs from you now is stillness and trust. What's coming doesn't need your voice. It needs your readiness. And that readiness is built in the quiet, away from distractions, deep in the presence of God. Some of the greatest blessings from God are hidden before they are released. They're tucked away in places only silence can reach. Not because God wants to keep them from you, but because He wants to protect them for you. Speaking prematurely can expose your blessing to environments that aren't ready, and to people who don't have the heart to handle it. When God plants something inside you, a vision, a calling, a relationship, a breakthrough, it begins like a seed. If you dig up that seed too early to show it off, it won't survive. God is asking for your silence not to punish you, but to preserve the promise. Some things are delayed simply because we announce them too soon. Not every next step should be shared before it's walked out. There are blessings moving toward you right now. Blessings that are custom designed for your obedience, your character, and your future. But they're wrapped in divine timing, and they require discretion. Silence is the envelope God uses to deliver what He's promised. Tear the envelope too early, and you risk tearing the content with it. Protect the hidden things. Guard the sacred. Don't confuse exposure with elevation. The blessing that's for you will not miss you, but you can miss it by speaking too soon. Trust that what God has placed in your hands is safest in His timing. Let your silence safeguard your season. There are doors that won't open until you close your mouth. That's not harsh, it's holy. In this season, God is aligning you with divine appointments, open doors, and supernatural acceleration. But to walk through them, you must be quiet enough to hear the instructions and still enough to follow them without resistance. Talking can often be a way of controlling perception, outcomes, or even people's opinions. But control is the opposite of trust. God is calling you to release control by embracing silence. It's in that silence that your spirit aligns with His spirit, and your pace begins to match His plan. When you align, you no longer chase doors. They begin to open for you. Imagine walking toward a locked door with a key in your hand, but the door opens automatically the moment you go quiet. That's what's happening. Your silence isn't keeping you from access. It's granting you access. The less you speak in this season, the more clearly you'll walk in the rhythm of God's will. Let God do the speaking for you. Let your life become the testimony, your breakthrough, the response. Your mouth has carried so much pain, defense, explanation. But now it's time to rest and let God align every piece. Silence is no longer a passive response. It's a power move in the spirit. Every elevation comes with a test. And right now, your test is silence. Can you stay quiet when provoked? Can you stay still when misunderstood? Can you hold your peace while God arranges your promotion behind the scenes? These questions are not rhetorical. They are spiritually critical. God is preparing to take you higher, but He cannot elevate someone who cannot control their spirit. Your ability to remain silent is directly connected to your readiness to rise. The higher you go, the thinner the air, and the more unnecessary weight must fall away. Silence is one of the ways God sheds from you what doesn't belong at the next level. This test will not come when it's easy. It will come when it's inconvenient. You'll be tempted to explain, to retaliate, to speak out just this once. But in that moment, remember, your elevation is watching. Heaven is recording your response. And if you pass this test, you'll walk into rooms you never thought you'd enter. This isn't just about holding your tongue, it's about building your character. If God can trust you with silence, He can trust you with leadership. If you can surrender your words, you can steward your promotion. This silence is your preparation for a platform, and only the disciplined will rise. You've spent too much time trying to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. But this time, God is saying, no more explanations. You don't need to justify your decisions. You don't need to defend your silence. The miracles that are coming to you will explain everything you couldn't say. Trust is letting God do the speaking for you. Trust is believing that your character, your consistency, and your quiet obedience will testify louder than any words ever could. The explanations you've been rehearsing in your mind, let them go. You're not in a courtroom. You're in a spiritual birthing room. People may mislabel you in your silence. Let them. They may think you're weak, stuck, or defeated.